Okay, check it out, folks. In this video, please, it's morbid sounding, but it really comes down to solution strategies and how to prevent it. But we're going to discuss the 5 most common ways to die. A lot of these ways, eventually we're all going to shuffle off this mortal coil at some point. We know that. But there is things that you could do to create and make sure the probability and statistics are in your favor when it comes to living a long, healthy, happy life. I'm actually going through that transition as we speak right now. So at the end of the day, let's just kind of dig into this a little bit. We'll talk about it, and then we'll figure out what the strategies are. Every year, about 0.8% of the world's population finds their final resting place, with about 8 out of 1,000 people passing on every year. It can be enlightening to know what the main causes are and how to have the best chances of avoiding them, right? So that's what we just talked about a little bit. So what are some of the action steps that you could do in order to be able to make sure that you are not one of those 0.8% in a way that didn't have to happen, in a way that really, because maybe nature took its course and eventually that you had to shuffle off. But stay with us as we go through the rest of this video. Let's talk about number 1, which is heart disease. And remember, everything I'm going to mention from 2020, 2021, and maybe even 2022, throw it out the window, because everybody died of COVID during those 2.5 years. But with that being said, let's talk about heart disease. The world's biggest killer is heart disease, responsible for 16% of the world's total deaths. Since 2000, the largest increase in deaths has been for this specific disease, rising by more than 2 million to 8.9 million in 2019. Like I said, let's just kind of forget about the rest of the years after that. So there's certain things you could do. Get with your doctor, get with a game plan, a meal plan, because this also ties into the mindset of money. Who wants to have excess wealth but not be able to get out of bed because their ankles are swollen or because their body's sore? Why not enjoy the wealth that you created over your working years, during your wealth accumulation years, so that you can really enjoy what your world looks like, and at the end of the day, be able to have fun with your kids and grandkids? Okay, so this is horrible. This happens to all of us in all of our lives. We always know somebody that succumbs to number 2, which is cancer. I think Tony Robbins just came out with a great book called Life Force. I strongly suggest dig into that, because I think that a lot of his strategies are so preemptive, it prevents any of those kind of things statistically and probability happening. But with that, let's get into some math here. Estimates are that in 2018, 18 million new cases of cancer and 9 million deaths occur globally. About 20% of males, 17 female, will get cancer at some point in time, while 13% of the males and 9% will eventually shuffle off this mortal coil. That means pass on. Some of the most common forms include lung, liver, and breast cancer. And we now know that, when I was growing up, if people got lung cancer, it was because they smoked. People actually get lung cancer now and don't even smoke cigarettes. So it's a great mystery. It's a great unknown. What I do understand, and I am no pro at this, dietary strategies, what you eat, what you put in your body, green versus non-green, is a powerful way to stay as healthy as you possibly can as you go from your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and so on. So remember, everything I'm providing is according to the World Health Organization. This is where we're getting our information. And we look at number 3, which is COVID. As of April 2022, more than 6 million deaths have been attributed to COVID. The impact of this disease has been unprecedented on the global scale and still proves to be deadly today. Obviously, we want to make sure that we're constantly getting germs off of our hands. We want to make sure that if we're around somebody that has COVID and we have an elderly in our family, we're very cognizant to make sure not to pass it on. But the truth is, at the end of the day, whether it was the Spanish flu 100 years ago or COVID, it seems to be that herd immunity is the key, right? We know there's political arguments over shots. We know that people on Facebook want to let you know that they're for the shot or not for the shot. At the end of the day, I know people that had COVID with the shot. I know people that had COVID without the shot. I know that they're saying, hey, if you got it with the shot, it wasn't as bad as if you would have got it without the shot. Not really sure if that's true. Never seen the evidence that proves that. But at the end of the day, it is a killer. It is understandable that, you understand who is getting killed as a majority on this. And it typically is someone that's elderly. Read up on it on your own. Get multiple opinions. Don't take the opinion of just one place. But this is from the WHO, the World Health Organization. Everybody has their agenda, but it's important to know this anyway. So this is another thing that if you really are vigilant and diligent and being able to put yourself in a position not to get sick or pass on from it. And there's even things you could do early on if you get COVID from a breathing exercise standpoint. You're not just laying in bed where your body wants to tell you to lay in bed. And by staying ahead of it that way, you could prevent it from really taking that next step. Okay, so check it out. Now we're at number 4, which is really unintentional injuries. So if we look at like car accidents, right? And we know that if we get a good night's sleep, if we have 2 hands on the wheel, if we stop at the stop signs, if we look both ways, we're controlling our outcome and statistically giving ourselves an advantage, but we don't have any control over the other person. We don't know what they did the night before. We don't know if they're drunk driving or if they're tired or if they're texting. So if we look at the statistics here, in 2020, an estimated 200,000 people died from unintentional injuries in the US. The highest death rates from unintentional injuries are found among the elderly, with the most common types including poisonings, motor vehicles, accidents, and falls. But yeah, we look at motor vehicle accidents, and when the elderly do fall, things begin to spiral thereafter. So when we look at unintentional, it's important to do the best we can to put ourselves in a position to pay attention as much as possible, but not live a frantic life, not be paranoid, and always stay in the abundant mindset. So check it out. Number 5 is stroke. To me, it's the scary. They're all scary, but stroke is the scariest because the impact varies. Some could be recoverable, but some could be permanent and terminant, and that means your life and lifestyle changes. But let's get into it real fast. Every 3.5 minutes, someone in the United States dies of a stroke. Scary. Strokes are a leading cause of serious long-term disability. Very scary. And the cost, the U.S. nearly $53 billion in healthcare services, medical treatment, and missed days of work. So if you don't have protection from what I just mentioned, and as you get older, the world changes on you pretty fast. And what was normal for you on Monday becomes a different game on Tuesday. And listen, in this whole video, we did speak about death because according to the algorithms out there, this is what you folks wanted to know. But I'm here to say, don't be depressed if you are. Death does not need to be a source of anxiety. Rather, it could be a form of education. How can we better prepare ourselves against these extremely common and in some cases inevitable circumstances in life? And it's no different if you're an expert in health by properly doing plans on working out and your meal plans. If you're an expert on money, by properly doing game plans when it comes to your money that ties into your money, time, and magic and your mindset. The same thing with your health. It's about an abundant mindset. Living in fear only manifests what you're living or what you're fearful about. So if you could really change the thinking, and by the way, your best thinking got you there on your own, so you need somebody to help you through it, coach you through it, guide you through it. But at the end of the day, if you surround yourself with folks that really you could stand on their shoulders and turn decades into days, good things begin to happen. So for us here at Epic Financial Strategies, what we're going to say is go ahead and click that link below. One of the persons here will sit down with you, create a full game plan that sits and fits with your core values, answer any questions you may have. And the planning is tied to health and wealth because we're going to show you how to build your wealth and at the same time show you how to live life in wealth as you create that generational opportunities. Thanks for checking in. We love all the fans that we have out there. If there's any comments you want to add below, do so. If you have any questions, do so. And if there's any video you want to see in the future, just put in the comments below. Thanks for checking in.